What's up, guys? I am doing a dual cast here with LosDog, and spawning down the bottom left we have the yellow xGKingJazBas from Team Winter Knights. Spawning up the top right is the blue xGKingJazBas from Exterior Gaming. Say hello, LosDog.
Yep, so as you said, we have XGKingJazBas and wTPetraeus. Now both these players are in the Grandmaster League, top 16, they both know what they're doing. This is the New Zealand Cup, so they're going to be trying their hardest to win this.
Yep, so this is on the map Cloud Kingdom. A lot of Zerg players do like this map as they do get the third expansion with relative ease due to the ramp into the main base being, the ramp into the second base being over here with rocks needed to be broken down to get main entrance. So third bases are easy to grab for Zerg players, so we can see quite a macro style game from both players usually. And yeah, so this is my first cast with LosDog. I'm going to do more in the future. I hope this one works out alright. We're trying to do this through Skype, so if there are a couple of moments where he's talking about something and I'm not focusing on it, you got to bear with us, because I'm going to try to do all of the camera focusing while he does his talk. Alright, LosDog.
So basically, like you said, this is a macro orientated sort of map. It's no rushing sort of like Archean Cradle or something like that. I can't remember the name. Anyway, but it is really hard to take the fourth on this map if you are versing something like a ZVZ, which are looking at now. In ZVZ it's very hard if they have speed roaches, because they can just come from behind and fungal growth at a fourth, which we're talking about in the centre middle of the map, next to Zalnaga. They can fungal growth, they can borrow roaches, they can basically do anything, they can ambush from anywhere. And then again, they can do multi-pronged attacks from any direction. They feel free to whatever tickles their fancy, I guess.
Yep, so well said. As we have a spawning pool close to finishing for wTPetraeus, we also have a hatchery going down for XGKingJazBas, which was at 15 the hatchery and 14 the spawning pool, as it is just about finished. And now a spawning pool and a spawning pool just starts and a gas finishes for XGKingJazBas. So nothing too unusual for XGKingJazBas, although wTPetraeus hasn't opted to go with the macro style that we were expecting, getting that earlier spawning pool and going straight for the speed research upgrade for his Zerglings.
So there's a few arguments going on at the moment about which is better, the 14-14 or the 15 hatch. Now, both of them are viable options. Like, there's no wrong answer to this, except for the 14-14 is just getting out your metabolic boost faster and not having such an eco build sort of thing like the 15 hatch. 15 hatch would have more drones, except for you have like less lings, but obviously you would have more income at the start because you'd have like those double queen upgrade, or not upgrades, but you have double queens and so on. You have like more larvae.
Yep. And so expansion finally going down for wTPetraeus. That did go down at about 20 supply, and also XGKingJazBas now getting the speed upgrade himself for his Zerglings, but his hatchery is well finished and a queen almost finishing at both expansion. And now we're seeing a baneling nest going down for wTPetraeus just here. He's been mining the one gas from very early on in the game, so he could afford to get a few banelings into the map. But we do have a spine crawler going down for XGKingJazBas just to secure both of the expansions really, although run-ins are possible for the mineral line down here. But one spine crawler is very effective for taking out a few banelings. But we will see a lot of these units just having small encounters throughout the match, especially Zerglings. It's critical at the start, maybe to try kill off a couple of workers. So now a few banelings being brought into the match. This will be interesting.
Yeah, banelings are very start if you miss micro. The moment you miss micro on ZVZ, that's it, you're gone, because the moment those Zerglings or banelings or those drones go, you're basically dead. So there's a baneling bus killing off that spine, and now there's more Zerglings in production, but I think wTPetraeus may kill off this hatchery if JazBas isn't careful. Now those queens that walled off at that ramp was a very wise move, as some Zerg players actually have pass and just kill off the main, the main and just kill some drones, which is a big disadvantage if you 15-15 hatch.
Yeah, so the banelings used wisely there to take out the spine crawlers, as they are so good at picking off those Zerglings. So the Zerglings were able to get a few bites away on that hatchery, but wTPetraeus knew it was time to get out of there and he began to back out. And now XGKingJazBas returning with a bit of an offensive but I think just 2 banelings could easily take that out, and xGKingJazBas doesn't really bother with an engagement at this stage, and he will head back towards his base. So Spine Crawler, and we're seeing ranged upgrades for xGKingJazBas and a Roach Warren going down. So he's going to transition into the Roach play a little faster than Petraeus. Petraeus still droning up at his expansion. If we look at the harvester's count, it is relatively close at the moment. Petraeus leading slightly, surprisingly really, considering he did get the later expansion, but nothing too unusual, no one with a significant lead at this stage, apart from that Spine Crawler which went down for a couple of banelings. That was the only significant event.
Yeah, I mean, right now the game is at a not very big, like nothing big's gonna happen, I can tell you, unless someone pumps like 40 lings out in one shot or something like that. But then again, there's roaches coming out, so roach play can counter anything that Petraeus has up his sleeve. He's even getting the double Spine Crawler just in case there's any major roach push at this time of moment. It could go into a roach, Ling Bane roach sort of push, which is a all-in sort of move. If you fail it, well, you can't come back for it very easily.
Yeah, so Zerglings discontrolling Xel'Naga for Petraeus. xGKingJazBas hasn't thought of doing such yet. We do have Overlords near both bases with the capability of scouting for the tech. I'm not sure if Petraeus knows about the Roach Warren. No, he hasn't even made it into the main at any stage yet. So no idea that there are roaches coming yet, although an Overseer is shortly going to discover this tech option. And yep, he sees the Roach Warren and he'll be aware of roaches on the way, and he'll know that Zerglings and banelings aren't going to be as an effective option anymore. He does have lair tech now though, and we do see a Spire going down, so Overlord goes down there, and xGKingJazBas is supply blocked, so nicely done by that Queen, managing to catch that Overlord. So a Spire on the way, which could mean Mutas, and that could mean trouble for xGKingJazBas if he sticks with roaches, Zerglings and banelings.
Yeah, I mean, if Jazbas, like you said, if he doesn't scout it, he's in deep trouble, but like, there are some counters where you can pull all your queens to where the mutas are going. You can just transfuse if you have leftover energy, which Jazbas looks like he does. He has a little bit of energy left over from both these queens, especially the one at the main. The main has 68 energy now. He can either use it for creep spread, which he already is doing. His creep spread, well, considering it's a ZBZ, you don't need a creep spread as well. Jesus, my speech today. And yeah, so basically this one transfuse can mean a lot if it's like a mutatech path like we're seeing right now. There's also, well, Jazbas just saw that third going down. He saw those 2 banelings. He got effective knockoff there with 2 banelings by 4 Zerglings, so that's very effective in my opinion.
Yep, so now a large number of Mutalisks are about to move right across the center of the map, and there is nothing really xGKingJazBas can do. He's thrown down a couple of Spine Crawlers, but this really isn't the Spore Crawler, sorry, at the third isn't going to be finished in time, so he'll be able to snipe this Queen with no resistance, and he takes that out. A transfusion actually saves that Queen, so good point, LosDog. You actually picked that up, and that transfusion did manage to save the day there. Spore Crawlers, they might actually manage to finish. That Spore Crawler doesn't get cancelled and goes down, and xGKingJazBas also supply block now, so these mutas doing a lot of damage considering there weren't too many of them. There are Spore Crawlers placed in every mineral line now at this stage though, so I can't really see the mutas being an effective option for a harass, although they are going to be able to do a lot against a straight up army encounter, although Hydralisks are now available for xGKingJazBas, and he's getting all kinds of upgrades. We have Roach speed, we have attack upgrades for ranged, and we also have arm upgrades. So Roach Hydra will be an effective composition for xGKingJazBas, and Petraeus hasn't really made any sign of transitioning into a different sort of tech yet. He's still sticking with his roaches, his Zerglings. He's now got roaches. He's got Zerglings, banelings, roaches, and Mutalisks as his tech options.
So both these players are now going bulk roach with some infestors. Like, I can sense an infestation kit going up. Go straight roach hydra all the time. Like, that hydra den's got to die sometime. You can probably pressure with the hydras, but in some time you'd have to transition into infestors. Like a straight up roach army versus, say, Ultralisk infest Hydra would absolutely dominate just a straight up roach army. You got to make sure what the opponent's doing so you can keep on top of what they're doing, and you can sort of transition into what you feel would be suitable for that option.
Yeah, so well called. We do have a infestation pit has finished for Petraeus, and he's getting the upgrade so we can have additional energy in order to get off those fungal growths instantly. The roach hydralisks are now moving out, maybe to secure a fourth for XGKingJazBas, but Harvester's Tap, Petraeus is leading by 20 at this stage, and he's actually thrown down his fourth base already. He managed to get supply block due to that Overlord, but nothing really to worry about, so we will see a bit of an encounter here. The roaches are in a position, it's just a straight off roach encounter. We're going to wait to see. I don't think that Baneling's really going to change anything, so the roach is not in the best concave for either player, but I think Petraeus will definitely come out on top at this stage, just to the sheer numbers of roaches he has. He is 1-1 against 2-0, so the armor upgrades kind of cancelling out the extra attack upgrade that XGKingJazBas had, so Petraeus will come out on top of this one, but they basically just swapped their armies. Neither player really with enough left to end the game at this stage. The fourth base finally finishing for Petraeus, but I definitely think Petraeus is in a position to completely resupply his army.
Yeah, I guess it was a good trade-off by both armies. Like, both remaxed pretty easily. I must admit that that defense armor upgrade actually did quite a bit, and has a lot of roaches. Hold this off if he has just roach. Well, he doesn't have enough roaches to hold this off.
Yeah, so XGKingJazBas backs up from that encounter there, and Petraeus definitely leading. He is leading the supply count by 35. He is leading the harvesters count by 26. His army is generally looking nicer, and he does have the infestors option. So we will definitely see some infestors on the field soon, and XGKingJazBas tried going around, but it really wasn't the smartest move because Petraeus was all over it, and he managed to get right into the third, but he lost a couple of roaches for every step he took, and just got sandwiched there by Petraeus. Petraeus now at max supply, and XGKingJazBas just losing roaches every time, every direction he steps, and Petraeus could have enough to end it near here. Slight encounter, not with all of the roaches for Petraeus, but now Petraeus has a much better concave. Nice fungal growth going down, softening up those roaches well, and Petraeus will easily take out this battle. XGKingJazBas struggling now on supply count. Petraeus at 193.
Wow, this is amazing. I mean, look at Petraeus, he's floating right now. He's like getting all excited. He's just like, yes, I've won this. I've won against XGKingJazBas.
He is, he's moving forward now.
Yeah, it looks like, one infested Terran. It's not going to do much, but still, every piece of valuable army is valuable.
Yeah, and the roaches are going to come out on top. Maybe XGKingJazBas might just hold this off. The Spinecrawl actually got a couple of stabs away there, and XGKingJazBas able to reinforce his army in time, and now counterattack. So last few minutes we've just seen waves of counterattacks for both players, with strong roaches doing the job, and that infestor doesn't make it because it's too fat and too slow. But we'll definitely see more infestors coming out. Yeah, we now see two infestors with the energy to do a couple of fungal growth, which soften up the roaches nicely. Hydralisks no longer being created for XGKingJazBas, and Petraeus is at maximum supply. So once these roaches arrive, he's just going to move out, and here's the engagement. Will we see there's a fungal growth softening up all those roaches? They are very weak on health, and one side of the roach army goes down, and the second one going down shortly. Petraeus moving up with a very strong number of roaches and a couple of Hydralisks. The infested Terrans didn't make the cut. Sorry, a couple of infestors. The infested Terrans didn't make the cut and were left behind. But Petraeus still at maximum supply. XGKingJazBas has been stuck at 140 since maybe the 15-minute mark of the game, and Petraeus moving up now. Surely he's going to end this.
Yeah.
And
he has to end this.
There goes my microphone.
He's moved up at the moment. There's not enough roaches to reinforce. I mean, Petraeus is just great macro. It's 3 base versus 5 base if he fails this attack, and soon roaches are absolutely going to just ruffle stomp through that army, and JazBas will have no chance.
He doesn't have what it takes really to defend from this point. Petraeus, as you said, running off 5 base, able to just keep pumping roaches up into this aggression, and XGKingJazBas is struggling. You know a player's struggling when he tries getting those spine crawlers down as a army option. It's really not going to happen for him. A couple of infested Terrans popping too, and as you can see, Petraeus still at 185 supply. He has not dropped down at all since he started his aggression. XGKingJazBas down to 96. I definitely say that XGKingJazBas is out of this one. He's not mining optimally at any of his 3 bases, and his macro just slipped. And there it is, KingJazBas, GG. So that one definitely came down to Petraeus had a nicer macro game in the end, although KingJazBas did expand earlier and faster at the very start of the game, going for the hatchery first, Petraeus getting that spawning pool. Petraeus definitely came out on top with a stronger macro throughout the game, able to continually pump those roaches. So that's how I see it. How do you see it, LosDog?
Well, I see it was very well played by both these players, but I guess Petraeus had that more of a macro style player. Like JazBas was kind of trapped on, if we think about it, because we had the mutas come out, we had like the mutas were harassing everything, then we had like the pressure coming from see if he can poke his third or his own third, and then Petraeus held it off pretty well, and then JazBas is just like, oh crap, he's either going to push out, and if I expand he's just going to keep denying it. So his only viable option was just to bulk up this army and just move out as fast as he could.
He tried his best, but at the end of the day it really wasn't enough. So well played by both players, but Petraeus did take this one out. So Petraeus from Winter Nights Gaming does come out on top in this game of the New Zealand StarCraft Cup Season 2. So I hope you guys have enjoyed this dual cast. There'll be more to follow. Please leave feedback by subscribing, commenting, liking, all of that, and cheers. We'll see you next time.